Beautiful. All right. Thank you, guys, everybody. It's really, really great to be here again. I'm currently coming to you live from United Kingdom, from London. Just flew in from New York. As I mentioned before, I'm a digital nomad, so I get to travel the world. I'm going to quickly take you through a bit of a presentation. Dean, can I ask that you give me a little 5-minute warning before my time is up? Um,
Brilliant.
just so I know where to do everything. Thank you so much. Right. So let's begin. Let's start that process. All right, everybody, just a little bit of background. I come from a very strong kung fu background. I got full on into kung fu relatively late in my life, at the age of about 27. This is my teacher. He came from China. He was a 32nd generation Shaolin monk. Couldn't speak a word of English when I met him. And I was his very, very first student. And I'm going to talk a little bit about a kung fu in a second, but I'm also got fairly well known, especially in South Africa. I wrote a book called How Not to Start and Run Your Own Business. It's literally printed upside down, and it was a very cynical look at the view of running your own business. And it basically said, just do the opposite of what everybody else tells you to do, and you'll be absolutely fine. So it's got a lot of humor. I don't even think it's available anymore, but I'm just giving you guys a bit of background. So it was a very interesting look at the business world. I also did a TEDx talk. I'm very into organic planting. We actually support a food garden in Bali, in Indonesia, to help orphans learn how to grow organic food. And I'm very much into people growing their own food. I wonder why that would be such a useful thing to do in today's age. So I'm very, very big. I think if we all started growing our own food, we could change the world tomorrow. And that's me on the TEDx stage. Also, failed dismally trying to create an eco village. For anybody that's really interested in understanding that, it was a fascinating experience. So we actually created an eco village where a whole bunch of us decided to try and go off the grid. Anyway, that didn't work, and it's a fascinating story for those of you who want to hear it. And you can listen to a podcast with a young German guy, really nice guy. That's online as well. I also took the top banks to court after the 2008 credit crisis. I formed a non-profit organization because what the banks do behind the scenes is nothing short of just diabolical. So we all know that the banks are pretty bad, but just how bad it was back then has a lot to be desired. Lost the court case pretty badly, never expected to win. I mean, we're dealing with an absolute army when you have four of the most highly paid lawyers against you that money can buy in courtroom at once. It does make things quite interesting. But we were on TV and we did a huge amount to promote the fact that the banks are not such great guys and try to expose the fact of how actually banks work deviously. And for those of you interested in how the banking system works, please read a book called The Big Short. Watch a book or watch the movie called The Big Short. And for those of you who want even more detail, read a book called Web of Debt. It'll change your life when you understand how these guys are able to get away with what they do. Right, back to Kung Fu. No, that is not me. All right, I'm not that young. That is my son when he was 13 years old. He's now 21. Him and I went to the World Championships in China to represent our country at traditional Shaolin Kung Fu. That's a cool photo that somebody took of me purely by accident. This Chinese lady ran up to me and goes, "Look, I got a photo of you. I got a photo of you." A really cool photo at the World Champs. The World Championships itself was underneath a 99-meter high golden Buddha. I don't know why they didn't make it 100 meters, but that Buddha is made of gold. It's within 7 mountains and it's in a massive Buddhist sanctuary. And that's just after dawn when the mist is coming up, just after sunrise, when everybody's getting ready for the tournament. That's my son getting ready. He was in the 13 to 17-year-old age group. You can see the other boys are much, much bigger than him. But despite that, he still won a silver medal, which is pretty amazing at the World Champs. So we trained pretty hard. We had some amazing, there were about 70 different countries, I think, that were there. That's a Brazilian team and a whole bunch of other teams as well. That's a story in itself. There was just this amazing moment where we were all underneath the Buddha and all these people were taking photos of the Brazilian team. And we just said, I just ran in to get my photo taken with them. And then one by one, all the other teams started joining me and they were calling up like, USA, USA, come join us. And the USA team would come and join us. We'd be like, Egypt, Egypt, come join us. And Egypt would come join us. Journalists were all over the place. It was just it was just the most incredible, amazing experience. And there's me and my son sitting next to us in our South African Proteas uniform there. I talked a lot about how Kung Fu can boost your business. I was on TV quite a bit as well. That's me talking on TV. I can send you those links. I won't go into too much detail now. But then what I decided to do is a few years ago, I decided to build my son's LinkedIn profile. He's currently studying law. He's finishing his 3rd year of business law in South Africa. And I started building his LinkedIn profile full of lawyers. He has 4,000 lawyers, about 4,000 lawyers now, only lawyers. 99% of them are lawyers at the moment on his LinkedIn profile. And by the time he finishes his degree, he'll probably get to about 8,000 lawyers. He'll probably have one of the most powerful LinkedIn profiles for the legal community that you could ever imagine. He'll basically be a LinkedIn influencer by the time he's finished. Just for building up his LinkedIn profile. So that's what he's been doing. And the reason I'm so passionate about LinkedIn, there's a few reasons. 90% of LinkedIn is absolute crap. It's useless. It's a complete and utter waste of time. I don't call the shots anymore. And I actually pity people who sit there posting 2 or 3 days a week, making up these posts and writing these great letters and getting 3 likes and a share. And your sister-in-law is the one that shared it because she felt sorry for you. And then you create these post parties to try and beat LinkedIn algorithm. I love you guys for doing it. And if you do it, that's great. But I think it's a complete and utter waste of time. What you want to do is you want to build one-on-one relationships, real human connections. The problem, of course, is LinkedIn doesn't allow you to do that, which is why we built My Most Trusted, because this does what LinkedIn should have done in the first place. So what is My Most Trusted? Well, at its raw, most basic functionality, it allows you to create a new sub database, which is trusted connections. So at the click of a button, you can add someone's, when you're on their LinkedIn profile, you can add it to their trusted connections. I'm going to be very quick and not go into too much demo, because you guys can learn how all this works in heaps of videos, etc., online explaining this. But what I want to do here is when you meet somebody at a networking event, and that's why I love the Connect Collaborative, because it's networking without hard selling. It's getting to know people. It's building real relationships. Now, when you're building those real relationships, what you want to do is you want to meet the people that they know and trust. So no bots, no automation, no fake profiles, no BS, no spam, none of that nonsense. It's everybody in your trusted connections is someone you trust and know that's a real human being, and everybody in their LinkedIn connection, in their trusted connections is the same. So you're always dealing with real, authentic human beings. So it's like a subset. So if you've got 1,000 or 27,000 LinkedIn followers, I might know only a couple hundred of those actually, and they're in my trusted connections. So it's a sub database. So now what you're doing is within the authenticity of making genuine human connections, you can then do that. So let's take Gorkum, for example. I can go in and I can see Gorkum's trusted connections. So you can see he's got a bunch of really, really good connections here. Now, if I want to meet Anthony Abel, I am not going to go to Anthony Abel and go, hey, hi, Anthony, I'm going to spam you because I'm going to sell you the best insurance policy you've ever had in your entire life. No, I'm not going to do that. So what you do is you never reach out to somebody cold. Instead, you get a little trusted connection alert, and it tells you who else in the My Most Trusted network is a trusted connection of Anthony Bell. And as I showed you just now, Gorkum is as well. So what I will then do is I will go to Gorkum and I will request an introduction, and I will ask Gorkum to introduce me to Anthony. You can also introduce 2 people to each other. So if I want to introduce Gershwin to Gorkum, I can introduce them to each other. It does everything. It opens a 3-way little group chat on LinkedIn, so you can introduce them on LinkedIn. It sends all parties an email to introduce them. It keeps a record of that referral, because nobody keeps the record of their referrals. Why? You should always keep a record of the referrals that you make, and you can follow them up later, and there's great street cred, and it even creates a LinkedIn post for you. So you'll actually post on LinkedIn going, I've just introduced Gershwin to Gorkum. It tags them, posts on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn loves that. So instead of posting 2 or 3 days times a week and spending ages or automating that process, if you're going to do great posts, post and tell people you've introduced each other. They love it. LinkedIn loves those kind of posts because people are tagged in it. LinkedIn loves it also because it gets traction, and of course the people love it because they see you're somebody who introduces people to each other. So what we've done is we've created an introduction referral machine over here. So that's the one thing. Now, as you guys all know, you guys are also part of the Connect Collaborative, so you guys get the Connect Collaborative version free. Let me just quickly hop onto that. So you get the Connect Collaborative. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to actually create a sales pipeline. Once again, the CC does a wonderful job in the workshops of how to actually use My Most Trusted properly. But you can then essentially actually create a sales pipeline on Zoom. And we've done a wonderful deal with a CC member by the name of Kel Holiday. I think some of you guys think, Dean, I'm not sure if you use Go High Level. But if you use any of those CRM tools, you can actually work on LinkedIn. And while you're working on LinkedIn, it'll actually push that data into your CRM as well. So it essentially turns your LinkedIn into a prospecting machine, but it does it so gently. By the way, guys, there's a new little feature. This little eye over here tell you what kind of referrals you're looking for and who's in your database. And what ends up happening is you can actually then see each other's what people actually, the type of referrals they're looking for. So this is how My Most Trusted works. But here's what I'm going to finish off with. And this for me is one of the nicest little pieces of what I want to show you. I'm going to put it in the chat now. It's which you guys can download. It's my free little ebook. It's called The Captivating One-Liner. Now, the captivating one-liner is not something you use in a bar to pick up somebody, all right? Although I've had it quietly mentioned to me that it can actually work in such circumstances. But however, I do not endorse such things. This is for a business. This is for a business approach. It's called the captivating one-liner. All right, what it is one line. And when you reach out to people on LinkedIn for a referral or whatever, you need to build credibility because it's know, like, and trust. And trust and credibility is the thing that inspires business leaders to do business with each other. Here's a little story for you. I know somebody in South Africa who is a very, very good friend of mine, and he is friends with a top CEO. They're drinking buddies and golf buddies and whatever buddies together. That CEO is a part of a community of only highly what's the word, connected and CEOs of listed companies who turn over in the billions of or tens of millions of dollars, rands, whatever. They all agree that if somebody else in that network contacts them, they will have a meeting within that 24 hours. It's a guaranteed meeting. So it's this, you think that in upper echelons of business, that business communities don't work. It's absolute nonsense. Business, human to human business is what makes the world go round. At the upper echelons, that is how they do business. So the captivating one-liner is used to create that sort of trust. Now, the way that we do it is we create these beautiful little images, and we actually create one line that is going to kind of rock people's world. So when you reach out to people, whether it's for referral or whether it's for it's an outreach, generally you don't spam them. You just say, here's written an article. I'm looking forward to meeting you. Before we meet, read this little article I wrote. So we create these really, really nice pieces of content. So here's an example of a captivating one-liner. The SEO Lord's Prayer. Dear God, please don't ask me to do SEO on Shopify. So you see what's happening. What you're doing is you're creating these beautiful pieces of content, right? Which make you, the author, look like a highly credible individual. And this becomes a tool. This URL, this link, this article becomes a tool. So before you have a meeting with someone, or before you get referred to somebody, you say, just before our meeting, why don't you just read this article, because you'll understand where I'm coming from. And this article is never a sales pitch. It's never about your product or service. It is always about the pain of the audience that they're going through. So SEO, anybody who does SEO on Shopify hates it. They absolutely hate it. And that's why we're creating this. So when the captivating one-liner is coupled with these beautiful images on LinkedIn, and you use that referrals are within My Most Trusted, you suddenly have this very, very powerful way to reach out to people and get them to engage with you in a different way that builds trust and credibility, but never, ever, ever sells to them. Here's another example as well of these cute little images and things that we use. Okay, let me show you another couple of examples. So this is a powerful one-liner that did really, really well. You think your fleet of trucks is running smoothly until it becomes manslaughter and you and your directors go to jail. Really serious. Like you're here to get people's attention. People get spammed 20, 30 times a day. If you're going to break through that clutter, you need to have something that really, really rocks their world, that speaks to them. And that's what we do with the captivating one-liner. So we spend an hour and a half just working out that one line before design, before copywriting, before anything. Just that one line becomes that little kind of casino chip that allows you to play at the table of the big boys and girls. Paint companies. Reading online content is dull, lifeless, and colorless. It's like watching paint dry. So once again, bold, provocative, making a statement, but backs it up with some really, really good quality content. So it's like, here, guys, this is me. This is who I am. I'm an unashamable, what is the hell is the word? I'm an unashamed expert and I'm willing to speak some truths about my area of expertise, but I sure as heck I'm also willing to back it up. So these are not designed to get you business. They're not advertorial. They are designed to get people's attention and build your personal credibility and stay in their mind and go, wow, this person kind of gets it. Factory managers, do you have any idea what is actually going on in your plant? So once again, you're creating these great little pieces of content, and they become your casino chip, so that you can play at the table, and you're using this chip to work with people within your LinkedIn profile. Then you're using My Most Trusted, right, to add to your trusted connections. And while you're building up your trusted connections, you then have access to their trusted connections, and you're using your content as like a chip in order to get in the door. You don't have to use a article like the one we've shown with a captivating one-liner. It just really, really makes it a lot better. So I'm going to quickly put this in the chat for you, but you can also get it from our mymosttrusted.net website, which I'll show you guys now in a second. So there's the captivating one-liner ebook. You can get it, and you put it in the chat for you guys quickly so you guys can get it and download it. There we go. All right, so you can get it from there. So My Most Trusted is a Chrome extension that sits on top of LinkedIn. It takes a few seconds to install it. And the way that you do that is you just simply go to mymosttrusted.net. So you go to mymosttrusted.net, and it'll bring up our website. Yes, I know we need a bit of work on our website. I get it. We think it's in process. And there's a button here called Download Browser Extension. It takes a few seconds. You install it as a browser, and boom, off you go. And you can download ebook, and we've got these little chat things that pop up as well. Great. And now I've got a video on here that you just watch. Within 10 minutes, you're up and running, and you're using My Most Trusted, and the majority of it is free. So you guys can join it. We have some really flippin' cool events that are also free. Every single week we run an event. So we have an events page, and I'll put that in the chat now as well. And you'll see on October the 19th, which is tomorrow, you can actually come and learn the software, ask questions, become a master. So this is about how to actually learn My Most Trusted in more detail. You get all of this actually when you're with the CC anyway through their workshops. We've got something called Fempreneur, which is something which is a movement we're supporting. We've got the Festival of Referrals and Introductions that's coming up, how to integrate and sync in LinkedIn with a CRM. So My Most Trusted actually can integrate into CRM as well. So you'll find out how to do that. So I'll paste the link to the events in the chat as well for those of you guys who want to come through. These festivals are great. I definitely recommend coming through to those, and you'll learn how to use it in a lot more detail. But you'll also actually make referrals live on the system itself. We have a whole lot of other cool stuff that we do as part of My Most Trusted, but at the end of the day, your goal is to simply add people to My Most Trusted. And then you'll actually be able to see them. So you can already sort of see over here, you can actually go them, and you can actually just click on add to trusted connections. They have to be a first degree connection in order for you to add them. So if you do want to add anybody to trusted connections, that do have to be a first degree. But otherwise, all you basically do is use the little pop-up on the right-hand side. Let me see if I can give you an example. Let me use Cherie. So as long as they're a first degree profile, they're a first degree, so you've got to connect with them on LinkedIn first, okay? The little button will come up saying add Cherie to trusted connections. Once she's on there, she'll go green. She's now part of my trusted connections, and I can introduce Cherie to other people, and I can view her trusted connections. So there's her trusted connections over there as well. And if I want to introduce Cherie to somebody else, I can just literally just introduce her, give a reason, and it does that introduction for you. So the whole goal, guys, of what we're trying to do here is get away from this whole horrible world that we live in right now, where it's spam and fake profiles and automation and all that kind of stuff. This is real human to human connections, and that's our goal, guys. We're here to create something different, special, unusual, and get you guys meeting each other. The last thing I want to mention to you is because it's free, we have something called the My Most Trusted 100 Club. And that's a little club for people that have international businesses that want to get their own concierge, which is like a virtual assistant that helps them with their trusted connections, helps them with their captivating one-liner, all of that stuff. So if you want to understand how to become a member of the My Most Trusted 100 Club, just give us a shout. I'll just put my email into the in here. There we go. There's my email address. Contact me. Happy to set up a one-on-one with you guys as well. Always friends with anyone in the Connect Collaborative. So any questions, guys? I know I rattled through that quite quickly, but usually there's quite a few questions and things like that. So I wanted to give some time for those who want to dive right in. Anybody? All good? Has anyone had some fun with My Most Trusted yet?
Yep.
Yeah, Jeff, good.
Excellent.
Cool, Debbie. Yeah.
I never even thought all this stuff was possible, Scott. This is terrific.
It's brilliant.
Whoa.
I've just got
thanks, Roy.
a question, Scott, that I may dig in with one of your technical support people, but is there any housekeeping that you should do with My Most Trusted?
Well, there's housekeeping and there's be careful. So there should be an alert that pops up that after 20 invites. We highly recommend you do not do more than 20 invites in a day, because then LinkedIn can get upset with you. But if you follow that, then you should be fine. In terms of housekeeping, there is a button, but I don't know if it's available on the CC tab either, which actually allows you to go in and delete old invitations. So, but you should be doing that anyway. If you've got old outstanding invitations, it's highly recommended that you go in and clean those up, because yeah, LinkedIn does like that. So in terms of housekeeping, Dean, technically speaking, if you're using My Most Trusted correctly, it should already be a clean house in most cases. Have I been specific enough, or is there anything specific you wanted to ask?
No, that was it actually, about cleaning out the old invitations that haven't been taken up. I used to do it diligently, but I couldn't see it quite so clearly when I started using My Most Trusted. So anyway, I'll have another look.
Let me show you quickly. So if you need a voucher, because you want to use it, because I think this is actually only for voucher, but it's actually fine, guys. If you want one, we'll give you one, because obviously you're part of the CC if you want to do that. But here it is here. You'd need to switch network. So go away from the CC and just switch to My Most Trusted. So it's blue. There's a little button here called Withdraw Invitations. You click on that and it'll say, how many would you like to withdraw? I suggest doing about 100 at a time. So then you just click withdraw, and then you go off and you make a cup of tea and you just leave it. And it's going to go and it's going to withdraw all the old connections for you.
Wow, can you put a time frame on that?
You're going to need a voucher. No, it's working. To do it, to do 100 might take 10 minutes.
No, I was meaning, like, can you say just delete the ones that are greater than 1 month old, for example?
Oh, yeah. It does the oldest first. Yeah. So it always does the oldest first. So all you do is you put, you will need it to get a voucher. So I'll help you do that. You just click the activate voucher button. Just contact me if you want one. I'll give you guys a voucher. Yes, just click withdraw invitations and it automatically does the oldest first. So it just sits there and just withdraws the oldest for you. So easy. Like, it actually made me realize I've got to do it myself. Yeah. Excellent. Fantastic, guys. Any other questions?